The Raptors turn it on in the fourth quarter and win the most important game of the season thus far, 104-98. We're going to break down everything that went down for you in tonight's post-game show. What's going on, everybody? The Raptors just took down the Chicago Bulls in a game with huge ramifications potentially to the play-in and playoff standings going through the rest of the season. It was a vital game in a tough stretch where you're going to Washington for 2 away games now against them. Once again, further ramifications towards the play-in tournament, but one game at a time. The Raptors' great record at home added onto it here with the win. If you're enjoying what you see, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more Raptors content just like this. So, the Raptors, they knew what was at stake here tonight, and the Raptors proved earlier on today that they mean business. Going out and getting Will Barton, bringing him into the team, and guess what? He suited up and played tonight. He didn't look tremendous in his 4 minutes today, but this guy like 3 hours before the game, or 4 hours before the game, wasn't even a Raptor yet, according to reports. So, cool to see. Wanted to be out there, wanted to be with the team, even getting a little bit of a run out there. But it means business. The Raptors are willing to spend to bring in players that are going to help this team for the playoff/play-in push. And a win does go a long way in helping achieve that. Standing-wise, the Raptors solidify their position here. They're up into the 9th seed. Chicago have dropped out into the 11th seed in the play-in or the Eastern Conference standings. Raptors now on the heels of the Atlanta Hawks. The Miami Heat a little bit in the distance ahead. The Nets probably a little bit too far in the distance, but we are not going to be ruling anything out there. All the Raptors can do is win their games. That is what they did today. And they did so in a fashion where they were not necessarily at their best for 3 quarters, but I think they were pretty damn close to their best in the fourth quarter where it all counted. This was the first time the Raptors had really been healthy since the acquisition of Jakob Poeltl, and we are curious to see how the lineup would be structured. And though Gary Trent Jr. is the one that went to the bench, just because you go to the bench does not mean that you cannot finish the game, and that is what he did, and he was vital down the stretch with some big shots in the fourth quarter for the team. Let's go into the box score here. This game also marked Fred VanVleet's return to the team, where straight up you just need Fred VanVleet to shoot better. Fortunately, didn't cost us. A lot of that was down to Fred VanVleet also providing every other part of the game that was beneficial. 9 assists here, 6 rebounds, a steal. Provided some excellent help defense in this game as well. But the 1 for 11 from the field is a problem. The 1 for 9 from 3 is a problem. Now, I think a lot of Fred VanVleet, the negative connotations toward his shooting do come from the fact that he gets a lot of the bailout possessions for the Raptors. And though that was the case today, he probably had like 4 of just the bailout possessions, which he's taken low percentage shots. There was 1 or 2, at least 2, that he should not have taken. Regardless, you just got to be better than that. You're Fred VanVleet, even if they are difficult shots, you got to be better than 111. Thankfully, there's other ways he affects the game rather than just being a shoot-first guard or a shot chucker, and helped us get over the line. The big performances, however, come down to the performances of Siakam, Anunoby, Poeltl, Trent, and only in the fourth quarter, but we did get in the fourth quarter, Scotty Barnes. Those guys definitely came through for us here. Also, shout out Chris Boucher for his fourth quarter performance. Let's talk about the good here. Siakam consistently provided offense in this game. 20 points here does not equal the franchise record for straight games with 25-plus points. Ends the streak at 7. The franchise record, of course, is 8. One more. But 7 for 18, 20 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. Siakam looked good in this one. He did look good once again, chugging along. OG was horrible against Cleveland. Looked like he did not want to be there. No energy. Responded today. An impressive 17 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. And maybe more impressive than the offensive numbers was held DeMar DeRozan in hell today. DeRozan finishes as a minus 15 in this game. Worst of the night, barely. And we'll talk about that in just a second. 13 points, 5 for 11 shooting. I mean, look, 5 for 11 isn't bad, but limited what DeRozan wanted to do, which was necessary for the Raptors. Also, shout out the amount of turnovers the Bulls committed, 19 turnovers. Further down the list, Jakob Poeltl was excellent in many stretches of this game. Did not close the game. Raptors went with a 5-out offense, which paid dividends, but 14 points for Yak, 6 for 9 shooting. Once again, effective in many areas. Scottie Barnes is a very weird one to round off the starting five because for 3 quarters, I was like clear, some of the decisions were good. Third quarter, missing some bunnies, but decisions were good. First half, only took 5 shots, 1 of 5. And I'm thinking, how is he not getting himself more involved in this game? And I'm criticizing him, but I'm knowing, we still have a whole second half, especially the fourth quarter, where he always rises up, and he did big time. Big time did he rise up in the fourth quarter. From points, defense was just dialed in everywhere, and it shows that when he's engaged, he can make such a difference. Now, it's not a bad thing that your young player has a knack for playing better in the fourth quarter, but we just need to find ways. Maybe he needs to find ways to be effective as well for the entirety of the game. Though, the fourth quarter performances did help us. 4 blocks for Barnes in this game to go with the 11 points and 8 rebounds, 4 assists as well, and a steal. 4-12 shooting, but Scottie Barnes was effective all game. Plus 19 would indicate some of that. Going to the bench, Boucher was outstanding in the fourth quarter. Really, really, really was important in the stretch of the game where it looked like the Bulls may pull away. Will Barton, kind of whatever, 4 minutes. Thad, there's some numbers here. I don't understand Thaddeus Young getting minutes here. I especially don't understand Thad getting minutes over Jeff Dowden, who has looked good in the previous games and had some good matchups today, I thought, with the smaller guards on the Bulls. Genuinely just don't get the Thad minutes. Don't understand it, but definitely could have been worse than him on the floor. Where it really could not have been worse came with Precious Achiuwa. Was a complete disaster everywhere. No saving grace to his game today. 4 points, 3 rebounds, 2 of 6, minus 14. Plus minus very much as a team stat a lot of the time. Like you see Fred on minus 4. A lot of Fred's minutes were shared with Achiuwa, where it was just disastrous, as I mentioned. Could not get any stops. Pylon like on defense. Offensively, ill-advised shot attempts. Breaking off more than he can chew a lot of the time. Going into just 4 guys at the rim and he's trying to go up. He got blocked twice. No. Today was not it from Achiuwa. Big bright spot from the bench. I'm glad he still got a good amount of minutes. Gary Trent, 5 of 11 from 3, 19 points. Excellent game from Gary Trent. 3 steals as well. Raptors needed all of it. 104 points here. Barely scrape over 100. The half-court offense for lots of this game did not look good. I think a lot of that was very rotation-driven. Did not like a lot of the lineups Nick Nurse was putting out. Honestly, thought Poeltl was the best guy to close the game in a lineup that also included Trent. Maybe that sacrifices Barnes, but I understand why Nurse decided to go with Barnes in the end. It came through lineup-wise at the end of the game, and once he took Precious Achiuwa out of the game in the fourth quarter. Where it counted, the Raptors were good. Where stuff didn't count as much, things need to be better. And you know what? We had a rough game against the Pistons. We won. A good fourth quarter saved us against the Bulls, but we got taught our lesson against the Cavaliers. If you play like this against the top teams, you're going to get, well, in the case of the Cavaliers, you're going to get rinsed and destroyed. Cavaliers blew us out. Thankfully, the Bulls are not that, but you got to find a way to fix up so that those sort of spots and runs don't happen because, listen, the Bulls went up by 8 here. It looked like it could have gotten a little bit out of hand. Thankfully, like I said, we come through in the clutch. Where the Raptors succeeded here largely came down to the extra possessions. And hey, testament to the rebounding. We had 19 offensive rebounds to their 6. Despite the fact we committed 12 turnovers, not horrible. They committed 20, and the Raptors took 23 more shots than Chicago, and 2 more free throws as well. We shoot 40% from the field and 36 from 3. They shoot 52% for the Bulls shot 50, 40, 80. That should get you the win, but the turnovers, the rebounding, hey, the Raptors, they hustled for this win. And like I said, that's going to have to be better against better teams. Fortunately, it didn't have to be better tonight. And from a fan perspective, every win matters, like we said, and a win is a win. With the upcoming schedule, though, this is not always going to come through. The Raptors have, I believe it is the second most difficult remaining schedule in the NBA based off of win percentages. They're going to have to find a way to beat these tough teams. 2 tough games coming up against the Wizards away. 2 vital games as well. And the ramifications of the standing with the Wizards just behind us in the Eastern Conference. But beyond that, there's going to be some difficulty on a little bit of a West Coast spot here. Nuggets, Clippers, Lakers, back home. Nuggets, Thunder, Timberwolves, Bucks. Tough run of games coming up. And if you can't piece it together, and you know what? Team is still trying to gel. Like I said, first game, healthy after the acquisition of Poeltl. Nurse needs to be better to figure out the best way to get the most out of all of his players. What the best rotations are, what the best starting lineup is, what the best closing lineup is. And the team needs to find a better way to gel together so we eliminate those rough half-court offensive sets in sections of the game. But, hey, Raptors, they get over the line. They do. They get over the line. They win what, at this point in the season, is the most important game they have played. Let's see how it all finishes up for the rest of the season. One game at a time, one win at a time. All right, if you guys did enjoy what you saw from today's stream, please make sure you've hit that like button and also subscribe for more Raptors content just like this. Join the Amateur Hour Army today, and I will see you on Thursday as the Raptors take on the Washington Wizards.